Hey guys, I'm back at Peloton Cycles in Fort Collins, Colorado, hanging out with Eric, and we're talking about essentials, things that are going to help you ride further and enjoy your bike that maybe you just spent a lot of money on.
Correct. So, people come in, not a cyclist or a cyclist. What do you need to ride your bike? What's the minimum? What does it take for me to just go out and enjoy my bike?
Yeah.
And the first thing that's very, very important is your head.
Yes, that is true.
You know, you need a bike, so there's the first item.
Yeah.
If you don't have a bike, it's hard to go for a bike ride, unless you're renting or something like that. So first, find the bike. Second is the helmets. So with the helmet, you're gonna need a helmet on your head. Whether you're riding just a mile or going for your 100-mile ride, have the helmet on. The ground's not any softer because you're just gonna go grab groceries or grab a beer with a friend.
Yeah.
Or you're going on a 100-mile ride. So cover your head, your friend and family members will like it for you. You get to ride your bike more, you get to buy new helmets, you get to enjoy yourself. So.
And some of the new helmets I've seen, like for girls, they have like a piggy, a ponytail.
Yep. They have what's called a ponytail port.
That's cool.
So you can put it through, have your hair coming out the back as well. The next question is how often do you need to replace the helmet?
And I'm so glad you said that. I brought my helmet in today. I've had this one for a long time. I bought it because it fit my head well and it had the kind of little twister thing in the back so you can kind of tighten it around your head. How do I know when it's time to replace that?
So you can see these are both echelons. So he bought it a while ago. They're still making the same model.
Cool.
So you can come in and go, you know what, my helmet's old. So what we are is we have consumer safety, CPSC, consumer product safety standards that are going to be for helmets. After 5 years, they do not approve a helmet for use anymore because it could cause an injury because of that. I take it one step further and say if it's something where you're keeping it in your garage all the time where the temperatures are fluctuating up and down, 3 years might be more than what it is. If you're like, what is this guy talking about? Think about your white cooler, styrofoam cooler you take. I think it's about a year old. What happens when you kick it?
It's brittle.
It explodes.
Right, so you're saying the foam's going to get brittle.
The foam's going to get brittle. Also, you can kind of see we're getting some little scratches and dents. You might not be able to see that on camera, but just kind of we are seeing some of the styrofoam start to break down. Inside
it's
your
getting
helmets,
sweaty too.
And it's getting sweaty. Inside your helmets, there's a sticker right here that says when the helmet was manufactured.
Oh,
you can
all
see
blurred out.
his is not readable anymore.
Not readable.
But in a new helmet, you will see when the manufacture date is. This is January 2016.
Okay, well, so you convinced me. I was in here the other day, and I got a new helmet. I'm stoked about this thing. I went with the Centro LED. I felt like the Specialized helmets fit me really well. This only came in one size. I was nervous about it, but the reason I got it is because it's got a really cool LED built right in. I haven't even used it yet, but like you pull this out, I guess. Can you do that? I think we have to pull it.
I don't know how far you have to take it apart.
Yeah.
There we go.
And then maybe you press a button or something.
And then magically it works.
Oh no. There we go. Yeah, look at that. That is so cool. Up high where cars can see it, built right in. I was weighing these and there's really not even much of a weight difference. So yeah, sorry, I took us off track, but that's the first essential, helmets, and there's some really cool helmets these days. That's the point I want to make.
And so the universal fit nowadays, we have a lot more adjustability in here to fit a lot more sizes of helmets. So that's going to be how we get it to fit one person.
How do you feel about when people put the little sock inside to keep, is that for sweat and stuff?
That's correct, and I wear one too.
Okay.
So as long as you're getting the helmet to hit you in the same points, when you have the helmet on, you want to make sure the front of the helmet comes down to about 1 finger above your eyebrow.
Yep.
1 finger to the ratchet strap on the back, and below the crown of your helmet is how you have a properly set up helmet.
Okay.
The next thing's going to be is when you're putting a helmet on.
Do it.
This is too big. So
Oh no.
Do it on purpose. So when you're putting a helmet on, you can see how this is covering my eyebrows completely.
Yeah.
And how far it's coming down on my head, plus how much slop I have. But with a properly sized helmet, the ratchet on the back is your main test. You're going to want to come forward and have the helmet stay on your head. And that's how you're going to know if it's tight enough.
Oh, cool.
Because this is going to be the first impact.
Yeah.
The chin strap is going to be if you hit hard enough where the helmet's trying to come off your head.
Yeah.
So the chin strap just needs to be tight enough to be a full yawn. And then you're good to go.
Okay.
So, helmet. You're safe, you're alive, you get to ride your bike longer.
Check.
Check. Next is water.
Water.
It's the gasoline we burn while we're actually riding the bike.
Right.
So there's a ton of different ways. We have camelbacks, we have all that stuff. But the number one easiest way, especially for that 1 hour ride, is going to be getting a bottle cage. So most bikes are going to have a spot for a bottle cage, so you can carry any kind of 21 ounce water bottle or 24 ounce water bottle, depending on how the frame geometry and the frame shape is.
Okay.
So,
and as long as they have bosses, something I complain about a lot with electric bikes is a lot of times they don't have bosses. The Specialized bikes do. Awesome.
Yeah. that's one of the things you're going to have to check out there. If not, you're going to need to find and figure out another way to do that. They do have adapters that go around any round tube.
Oh, handy.
They do have things that go around all the handlebars.
Or even the seat rails.
And even the seat rails. And then, of course, there's going to be camelbacks in the bags.
Yeah.
So if you are commuting a lot, it's a good way to carry water around. If you're riding to a trailhead to go for a hike, you can carry the stuff you need. You can carry your
A lock,
shoes.
all the
can
other
carry
stuff
the
you
lock,
need. Okay.
All the things like that. So those are kind of the first two things you need just to go for any ride. Next, we've talked about some of the SWAT stuff, the storage, water, air tools. That kind of gets us into the next thing. The water is going to be integrated there. The air, and what we mean by air is a way to change a flat or a way to prevent a flat on your bike.
I see.
So if you're not very handy and haven't had a chance to make it to a free maintenance clinic where you can learn how to change a flat, getting a sealant, running a tubeless sealant, having thicker tubes, having stronger tires is a great way to stop and prevent some flats. But no matter what, unless you're running a solid tire, you do have a chance of getting a puncture in your tube.
Yeah.
So learning how to change a flat, having a spare tube, having a way to inflate it, and having a way to do that is important.
Okay.
And so we're going to have a ton of different options of how to do that. There's going to be CO2 style ones. There's going to be hand pumps. There's going to be all kinds of ways to get air back into your bike.
And you were saying some of the sealants is like slime or something.
Correct. So slime, airlock, goo tube, all of those are a pretty good way to go. You can still get a flat.
And you were saying some of the tires now, they have sort of like the Kevlar lining or armadillo or
so Armadillo is a specialized
Green Guard.
one. There's a ton of different ones. Every manufacturer has one. Continental has them. They have a 4-season. They have a vector breaker, which is going to be their heavier ones, and then they just have a ton of different hard shells and things like that. They're going to have flat resistance built into it. But no matter what, if you're going longer than where someone will come pick you up,
Yeah.
you get a flat, you're going to want to carry stuff to change a flat.
Okay.
And so that's going to be just your basic tools and things like that.
Some
to change a
tools.
flat.
This is really cool. It's like a chain breaker with spare links and stuff. So that's really hardcore if you're
And
breaking
that's
a
kind
chain.
of the next thing is how far are you riding? How far away people? Are you losing self-service? Are you doing things like that?
Yeah.
And I mean, we can go into a 2-hour-long video of everything I carry on my mountain bike.
Yeah.
Just in case I get stranded somewhere. And so that's the thing with the electric bike. You got to make sure that you know is we can go a lot further.
Yeah.
So we can end up 30 miles out and then have the bike break. We can end up getting
Pushing it
lost
back could be a
way
really
back.
big deal.
Yeah. And so I carry stuff for I carry a bunch of first aid stuff when I'm doing the big days like that.
Cool.
And I carry stuff to start a fire, and I carry stuff to make signals. Just because
Smoke signals.
well, smoke signals and mirrors and stuff.
Awesome.
Like that.
Oh,
so that way,
yeah.
If you do get stuck out there and you get to spend the night in the desert, having a space blanket and things like that.
Wow, space flight, man, that's hardcore. But it's true. It's like you don't appreciate how far maybe you've gone until you get stranded.
Especially with electric stuff. I mean, we're going out to Moab later this year. I'm going to have all that stuff because we're hoping to go do some 60, 70 mile days. We might be 35 miles out.
Wow.
And that's a long hike. We're going to spend a night out there if we can't get in contact with somebody, and we're going to be out of cell coverage.
Well, that's good to know. And like you said, shops have different tools. There's a bunch of different versions. We talked about CO2 versus a hand pump. This is going to be smaller, maybe lighter too.
Correct. So this is all, what we're trying to get in this is the essentials.
Yeah.
So don't worry about everything I just said. It's just something to keep in mind if you're planning for that big trip.
So, well, let's jump back to like just the essentials of enjoying your bike ride. You know,
Correct.
stuff like this. Yeah. Do you want to take it to?
The next one is going to be padded bike shorts.
Yes, spandex. Oh yeah.
So our good friend-
Whoa, look at that.
Good friend spandex. Nothing's made out of spandex anymore, so don't worry about that.
What's it made out of, man?
But it's going to be, we have a lot more higher end, fancy fabrics and things like that nowadays.
Polyester.